Well, it's supposed to be an eclipse, but I couldn't tell you because it's raining. And while it's raining, I'm also dealing with a leak in a system that is, what, 8 months old? Yeah, so we got a lot going on. And honestly, this leak is more pressing. So we're going to figure this one out, fill it up with some gas, leak check the inside, and maybe I'll get a shot of the eclipse. I think the sun is supposed to be somewhere over here. Who knows? Yeah, it's pretty easy to see. We're supposed to be at 9-degree subcool on this type of unit, so we're just going to put a little bit of gas in there and take apart the evaporator coil first, leak check it, and figure out where we go from there. Well, if you were wondering what the eclipse looked like in South Louisiana, this is about it. Try not to get water in the camera, but yeah, this is about as good as we got it. Very dark, much eclipse. Time to get back to work. That looks like enough refrigerant. Let's go inside, check it out, get out the rain, and yeah, this is it never got darker than this for the eclipse. So if you're wondering, South Louisiana, that is about as dark as it got. Fun times. Hopefully it was better where y'all are. Alright, the blower's starting to slow down. Let's pop the side off of this door and look for a leak. By the way, if you've ever used this Fieldpiece DR82, this thing is sick. I love this leak detector. Man, I tell you what never gets better. The amount of screws that are inside of these Daikin Amanda Goodman horizontal evaporator coils, case coils, dude, they put so many screws into them. And when you try and replace them, like this one here, I'm basically gonna have to either take the entire case, separate it from the furnace and the plenum, throw the entire thing out the window, and replace it with a fresh case, or I'm gonna have to take apart the entire front like I am now, and undo the top that's on the furnace and the top that's on the supply plenum, pick the entire thing up like it's a giant oyster shell, and lift the coil out of the top, because right there you see how I'm looking at the side of the coil. So you're looking directly at the face of the coil on an A-frame versus the side of the coil where all of the U-bends are and all the joints, like on say American Standard or a Lennox type unit, or not Lennox because it's exactly the same one, like a carrier or a Rude, where they always have the U-bends and the joints directly in front of your face when you go to open up the case. And the reason that this is such a pain is when you try and slide this one out, there's everything on the top of this unit. Like there's an extra bar to help out with airflow to keep it down so it doesn't just travel over the coil. There's an extra bar, and all of those edges are super sharp. So that bar and those edges, they just tear that top insulation so much that it's so frustrating. Because back in the day when Lennox had this style, they still have this style, but I used to try and pull it out, and I'm like, dude, if I could just save some of this insulation and I'll spray glue it back on, and I'm like, this is not working out. Why is this such a pain? Well, nowadays I just take and I either like the last one I did, I just picked up the whole freaking thing and I just bent it back. I was like, I'm not dealing with this. I just pushed the whole thing back, opened it up, and I was able to just pick the whole coil up, bear hug it, just get it out of there. And it was super easy, because when the new one went in, I just set it back, made sure it was on the rail, and just closed the lid like I was changing out an engine. It was pretty funny. You know, maybe somebody can verify this for me in the comments, but I heard that the new A2L refrigerants are supposed to have leak detectors built into the air handler or case coil themselves, and they're supposed to sense when refrigerant is leaking out of a coil or a refrigerant circuit or whatever. But apparently they're supposed to shut the unit down and tell you can't start it back up until the leak has been fixed or it's been reset or whatever like that. Dude, if it actually goes that way, then that kind of means we don't need leak detectors anymore, and we can rely on, like, hey, if the thermostat says, or the system says, with whatever codes they're going to have, if that says that we're going to end up with a leak in the coil and it shuts down, we don't really have to go searching for leaks anymore. It's like, okay, well, that's it. We're just going to order up a new coil, and that cuts back on, like, a ton of time. It's going to save customers build labor. Like, okay, say it's $150 to go look for a leak. You check outside, check inside. Oh, we found the leak, but you owe me $150 because I spent a lot of time looking for it. Well, it's going to cut back on that. It's like, okay, well, the system says you have a leak in your evaporator coil. It's not saying it's low or the low pressure switch got hit. It literally says that there's a leak in the evaporator, and we're just going to order it. In fact, if these communicating systems just say you have a leak in your evaporator coil, we can actually just order it from the office, go out there with a coil, replace it. We don't have to spend time going out there, diagnosing it, charging them for a leak, and just to find out, hey, it's in this coil. Okay, now we order it, we leave, we come all the way back, no matter how long it takes, we come back, and then we do the work, and then we either charge it to the manufacturer or get paid for the labor. Stuff like that. If we can bypass that whole first trip, not only will we save a lot of time, the homeowners will save money, and the whole industry might be in a little, it might be better. It might actually help the A2L change that we're going to have in the future. But I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to the A2L change. I know that it's in other parts of the industry, but I believe that it's just going to be a pain when we first get it, because there's going to be a lot of contractors that don't know how to operate with it, and it's going to cause major headaches. Hopefully nobody gets hurt, and it's going to be fun. So hopefully the future looks bright when it comes to different refrigerants, and we don't have to go through this process again. Looks like we found a leak right here. We're at exactly, not 100% sure yet, but there's a trickle right there. Is it at the very bottom? Come on now. Don't be shy. Show yourself. Looks like it is right up in here. Let's get some bubbles. One last try with the Big Blue. Straight in there. Wonder if we can get this on camera. It would be a miracle. Yeah, it's pretty much impossible to get it on camera at that angle with the Big Blue, but we have a leak in here, so we're going to order a new coil and get it replaced. Also, I would love to show you my Milwaukee door holder. Apparently there's an angle on here on the metal. It just wouldn't come open, so just stabbed it right into the wood, you know, no big deal. But this coil is under 12-year parts and 12-year labor warranty, so the cost of the customer is absolutely zero. That's one thing I like about Daikin. So we're going to get this thing ordered, replaced, ready for the summer, and should be good to go. See y'all in the next one.